Hi, everyone. My name is Erin, and I'm the founder of FieldSnips. Welcome back. Our mission is to explore careers and inspire futures one encounter at a time. And today, our encounter is with the lovely Chef Nikki. She is going to talk to us about the industry of culinary arts and how she has gotten into her career as a private chef. So, Chef Nikki, what is a chef, and specifically a private chef?
So, a chef is someone who prepares dishes for people, meals, typically in a restaurant setting, or it can be at home. But a private chef specifically cooks for people personally at home,
Okay.
usually, and also for like events. So, if you're having family in town, if you're having a celebration like a party, or just people who want meals prepared for them on a regular, everyday basis, that's what a private chef would do.
Okay, got it. So instead of worrying about your parents or your caregiver or grandma, whoever cooking breakfast, lunch, and dinner, you can do that for somebody.
Exactly.
And is there a difference between a chef and a cook? Like, let's say I'm at home and my mom, she doesn't, but she enjoys cooking and she
Mhm.
says, I'm a chef of the house. Is the chef the same thing as a cook?
That's actually a really good question that I get a lot. And
Okay.
so I believe the difference between a chef and a cook is that a chef is someone who can cook anything, anywhere, in any type of environment.
Mm,
They have what we call technique, they have skill.
okay.
So it doesn't matter if they're on an airplane somewhere or if they're in the mountains, out in the wilderness, in the forest, they can prepare a meal and follow a recipe, maybe even off of memory,
Mm,
because they have those skills. I think the difference with the cook is that they may be able to make really good food.
hmm.
They may also be able to follow a recipe, but they don't always have that same skill that a chef would to be able to create and execute this anytime, anywhere, any place. I think that's the main difference.
Okay, yeah, that sounds right. You mentioned the skill level and the technique that chefs use. If I'm a student and I'm like, I want to be a chef one day, I want to get into cooking, maybe I'm not. What are some skills that a chef has that you have?
Well, number one, something I actually learned in school was about time management and organization.
Hmm.
That's really big when you're a chef because whether you're cooking in a restaurant or even if you're cooking for a party, you have to make sure that you serve your food and your dishes on time. You also have to be able to multitask and be able to do different things in the
Mm,
kitchen at once. And so that's a really important skill. So if you're, one of those people where it's hard for you to concentrate on your homework and
mm.
cleaning your room, and maybe you have to babysit your little brother or sister all at the same time. It might be hard for you in the kitchen because you might have some pasta boiling, you might
Mm.
have some chicken in the oven, and you have to remember, like, oh, I have this going on, I have that going on. So you got to be able to multitask. That's a big thing.
Okay, yeah, that is a lot.
Mhm.
That is a lot. And it makes me think of the image sometimes we see of chefs on TV of this environment that is always so intense, or like people are yelling sometimes, orders are happening. Is that a realistic view of what it's like in if you're in a kitchen or fine dining or anything like that?
You know what? It can be.
Okay.
Honestly, it can be because cooking in restaurants specifically is such a high, like fast-paced environment. So, I mean, you might have a chef that's yelling like, "Hey, we need you to get this food out," or there might be some accidents in the kitchen. Maybe somebody dropped something, or maybe we ran out of something and we have to hurry up and make it really quickly. So, it
Mm.
actually can be like that.
Okay. Do you do meditation? How do you get through?
Chefs do a lot of things, but just mentally, preparing yourself before you go into work and just, having that expectation like, hey, today might be a busy day. I really need to make sure I'm focused. I love coffee. I'll
Mhm.
drink some coffee, or some people like energy drinks,
Okay.
but yeah, just preparing yourself for your day.
So let's talk about education. What credentials do you need to become a chef? And specifically for you, what did your education look like to from where you started cooking to becoming a private chef?
So I'm really big on the education piece. Going to culinary school. I attended culinary school right after high school.
Okay.
And although, some people will say you don't necessarily have to go to culinary school to be a chef, but I believe it's important just for, getting that degree and those credentials, having that behind your name.
Hmm.
And also, the learning that you get in school is a bit different from what you would get working in the field and working in a restaurant.
Mm.
And also the connections. So, I've made great friends, and my chefs and teachers are people that I'm still really close with to this
Mm.
day. But when I was in maybe middle school, or getting ready to go to middle school, I was able to apply to schools that had like special programs.
Hmm.
And so I knew that I wanted to go to culinary school. So I said, let me try to apply for like a school that has cooking and
Hmm.
culinary. And so I started my journey pretty early in middle school, and then in high school did specialty cooking classes there, so that by the time I finished school, I was kind of already prepared and knew I wanted to go to culinary school.
Oh wow, I'm glad you got the education. And what you mentioned is a network, having those people there is really important for you to advance your career. Like thinking about the resources the school provides to you outside of like the teaching of technique. You want to have opportunities after you leave school. I'm
Hmm.
sure they help you find jobs and find gigs or find places that you may not have otherwise found on your own. So that is a really good that's a really good point. There was one thing I mentioned at the beginning, and you repeated about the culinary industry, and I want to just touch on what is culinary art to the culinary industry? Does that just mean cooking, or does that mean something else broader?
Yeah, so I think culinary in general, the culinary arts is a broad term.
Hmm.
Some people may just look at it as just cooking, but I mean, there's so many different things that you can do under the culinary umbrella.
Okay.
Whether you want to cook in a restaurant, whether you want to learn about like gastronomy, how to make your food smoke and fizzle, and
Mm.
how to change like a liquid food into a solid food, and how to infuse flavors. I mean, you can go really sciency and get really nerdy
Mm.
about it, which I love.
Hmm.
Or you can just keep it pretty, basic, and you can just cook for people. But the culinary umbrella is really special because for me, one thing I'm big on is learning about the history of food
Okay.
and about the history of different cuisine. And so that's something else that's under that culinary umbrella, learning your history and your roots and your background behind why a dish is cooked a certain
Hmm.
way, or why a certain ingredient is used, or why we do a certain technique. That's really important. So I mean, culinary is so broad and it's so endless.
Okay. Glad you went into a little bit more detail about it. How did you get introduced into cooking?
So for me, it was very natural at a young age. When I was in like elementary school, I just loved food in
Okay.
general.
I love
Like,
food too.
yeah,
I'm not cooking.
I don't know anybody who doesn't like food or doesn't like eating.
Hmm.
So for me, my love of like culinary stemmed from my love of eating food.
Mm.
I was really big into like anytime me and my mom would be walking up the street and we pass a bakery, I'm just staring in the window. I'm looking at the desserts, I'm looking at the people making it. It was just fascinating to me.
Okay.
And so it stemmed from that, me loving food, watching my family cook for holidays and parties, and just always being in the kitchen. I just loved the energy in the kitchen. It was a lot of a lot of conversations in the kitchen, and it
A
was
lot of
always
grown
fun
folks
in there.
business in the
Yeah,
kitchen.
I loved being in the kitchen and helping my grandmother. And so naturally, it just came very naturally. And so again, by the time I got to like middle school or was getting ready to enter middle school, I said, I think this is what I really want to do.
Mm.
And I'm good at it.
And maybe, if you like being in grown folks' business during the holidays, you too should learn to cook so that you can develop
Absolutely.
a skill. And maybe one day that skill can turn into your career. So I do love that. What is something really cool that you remember about working as a chef?
Man, I think it's probably been from working for people that I seen on television or that I always dreamed of working with. I was on a television competition show, and that was probably one of my greatest memories because I was working under chefs who I grew up watching on TV. So you never imagine, like, you're like, oh, you see these people as a child, and then you grow up and it's like they're tasting your food now. Like, this is crazy. So definitely being on television, working with chefs that I admired and just loved, and also being hired by people that I just admired and loved. One of my favorite people that I ever worked with was Tabitha Brown. Oh,
Shout out to Tabitha.
yeah, Tabitha Brown. I was able to cater an event for her. And, Tabitha Brown is vegan. So I'm not a vegan chef. So having to challenge myself to come up with like a vegan recipe and dessert, and she actually liked it. That was a highlight for my career because I watched her on social media and on Instagram for years, and then to finally meet her and for the first time be actually cooking for her, I was like, this is dope.
Amazing.
Yeah, that was my fave.
As Tabitha Brown would say, very good, very good,
very good. Yep.
And let's not gloss over this TV show that you were on. Because, I mean, you were not just on a TV show; you were on a TV network, a food TV network. And what did you do on Chopped? Like, let's talk about that for a little bit.
So what's crazy? So Chopped, for the people that don't know, it's a cooking competition show where they give you a mystery basket full of ingredients and they give you a certain amount of time to make a dish. And then it's judged at the end. And if the judges don't like your dish, you're chopped. And then you don't go on to the next round. So that's what Chopped is. And Chopped was an amazing show to be on because I was very nervous. And I never imagined myself on this show. Again, this is a show I used to watch as a kid. And I was really afraid of even putting myself out there and applying to be on the show because I was like, there's no way I'm going to win this. I've been watching this show since I was a kid. I've seen the type of chefs that are on Chopped. These people don't even smile. They're serious.
They're serious and seriously good.
Seriously good. So not only, did I compete, but I won. And that really was a moment where I was like, wow, I'm not giving myself enough credit.
No.
Like,
not actually pretty good. Pretty good is an understatement. You are very good. Yeah.
But it was great. I cooked foods that I had never even tasted before. I made CAMEL for the first time. Like, how often do you guys?
I don't even know how to read. Have you ever had a CAMEL?
Yes, never had it until I was on Chopped. So imagine being on a show where you've never even cooked something, but they're like, "Hey, this is what you got, and you have 15 minutes to cook it." It can be a challenge, but it was also really fun, and it pushed me to do something I never thought I would do.
Yeah, that's incredible. That is very incredible. A CAMEL, I don't know. And it goes back to what you said about the skills and techniques that you've developed over the years. Being able to cook something that you've never cooked before, even after all of your experience after school, you know how to handle situations like that now.
Exactly.
So that preparation and that education has really come a long way in helping you in your career still. What are some things that kids can do now to start figuring out if they enjoy cooking or they want to be a chef? Are there programs you know of?
So that's a great question. I think the resources have come such a long way from when I started my journey as a kid. So nowadays, I mean, to be honest, YouTube University is great. You can go online and learn these basic techniques. Literally, my school has a channel on YouTube where they teach you techniques that I paid a lot of money to learn at school.
And let's shout out the school real quick because we got to pull some things out of you. You're being very modest right now. What culinary school did you go to?
So I graduated from Le Cordon Bleu, very prestigious culinary school, and based out of Paris, France, but they had some here in the United States. And I love that now you can go online and learn like how to cut up, a carrot and learn the different sizes and shapes. I love that. So the first thing I would say is to go online and just do a little research and see what you can learn. And then the best advice I can also give is to maybe work closely with chefs in your community, in restaurants. Now, I know that we're speaking to, the young people that are in school
Mhm.
right now. But as soon as you're able to step foot in like a restaurant kitchen or commercial or professional kitchen, get in there and just ask, hey, I'm maybe 14 or I'm 12. I want to be a chef one day. Is there
Mhm.
something I can do here just to learn and to watch? You'd be surprised because chefs are also artists. And
Mhm.
a lot of times they'll be like, yeah, I can get you in here and I'm going to teach you how to make some sauces today. And they might actually let you in their kitchen
Mhm.
just to play around and watch. And that's like priceless stuff you can learn. And then, of course, if you do want to take it a step further, applying for a culinary program, and they have them online now.
Mhm.
You don't even have to be in a classroom. You can do this online where you can get a degree and a certification to become a chef. I think that's really
Wow.
cool too.
You know, COVID helped us get some virtual learning going on. So
Yeah.
that is a good point. And to the non-traditional route that you just mentioned of sometimes being in the spaces, it reminds me of an interview I had with a fitness instructor. She taught Pilates, and she was saying that her first introduction into Pilates was when she used to do dancing, but she met somebody who owned a Pilates studio, and she started doing work for that person. Like she would clean up the studio and get free lessons. So if you find yourself in a space where you can go into someone's kitchen or you're in a restaurant, and to your point of being like under 14 or under 13 in some cases, maybe you can start by being behind the counter or cleaning up or
Mhm.
doing something that puts you in proximity to the people you want to work with or to the job you want to work with. And then to Chef Nikki's point of being in the kitchen and cooking some sauces, okay, maybe you could start there. So I really like the approach of not thinking you just have to apply to everything or you have to have this big resume or you have to do an interview to
Mhm.
get your foot in the door because you don't.
Yeah.
So, very good point. My last question is what do you think the future of the culinary industry looks like? Or where do you see yourself in the future as a chef?
I'm actually excited for the future of the culinary industry because of the creativity that has come about in recent years. You mentioned COVID,
Mhm.
and COVID really changed the face of how we do a lot of things
Mhm.
that we thought were normal. We had to change, and so it forced people to become really creative. People were forced to close down their restaurants
Mhm.
and they couldn't afford to keep their restaurants open during COVID, but it also forced them to say, how can I still keep my business going? Maybe I need to start doing like festivals and maybe get a food truck so that I can
Mm.
travel around and not be stuck in one place,
Mhm.
right? So I'm really excited about the future because I see a lot of creativity. I love sometimes I love how social media has affected our industry. People are going online and teaching you how to make dishes that you may not have never even heard of.
Mhm.
So I'm really excited about that. And then for myself as a chef, I'm excited mainly to be able to teach people in the
Okay.
future. I really love teaching people about our industry. And unfortunately, here in the United States, my school closed down.
Okay.
So this prestigious, wonderful school that I graduated from
Mhm.
is no longer here.
Mhm.
And so maybe, some of the techniques and some of the things and traditions that I learned back then, I'm excited to be able to teach the younger generation because they might not have access to this in a few years.
Mhm.
Some of those techniques may get forgotten. It's
Mm.
possible. So I'm excited to be able to teach and to keep those traditional cooking and culinary values alive.
Yeah, I love that. And if you are thinking about teaching in the future, you've taught a lot today. Okay. We've learned so much.
I hope so.
And I do hope that a lot of the students, I think they did, but I hope that students, parents, whoever is watching this learned a lot about the industry of culinary arts and what it's like to be a chef in that space. Is there anything else you want to leave the kids with or anything else you have on your mind?
One thing I would love to say to you all is no matter what you do, no matter what career you guys choose, something that I'm really big on telling people, and this is something that I do for myself, is believe in yourself first. And I know you might hear this a lot to believe in yourself, but it's very important when you go out into the world and decide what you want to do in the future. Believing in yourself is the first step. So even if sometimes you don't get support outside, I hope that you all do, but let's just say you don't always get the support you thought you would have,
Mhm.
or things get hard or challenging. If you believe in yourself first, you will always have that support from yourself, no matter what's going on around you.
Love that. Ending it on a very strong note. That's a very good message to leave everyone with. Thank you all for tuning in, and thank you, Chef Nikki, for this conversation. Until next time, bye.